All right, hey y'all, it's Pizza Hulk 41 back here today in Fallout 4. Now, if you're a follower of the channel and you're a follower of my Fallout videos, you know it's been quite some time since I have posted a Fallout 4 video. I thought I kind of go into that for today a little bit. We'll talk about it a little bit, why it's been so long and what's going on. And a couple weeks back, I've been streaming a lot of the Long Dark and the Outer Worlds lately, and during a couple of streams of that, I mentioned that I was going to be doing some Fallout videos soon. Well, I was hoping to do. Oh, hey, buddy.
Most people are good at breaking things. I enjoy putting them back together.
Right. Why are you up here right now? There's literally no. Anyway. That's just Fallout 4, right? Which we'll talk about here as well. But I had said, yeah, I'm getting back into Fallout. Gonna make some new videos. Generally, what I do for my videos, if you're unaware, is I highlight certain mods and I show you settlement builds, right? I have done a few playthrough type series type of videos as well, but for the most part, the most popular videos have been the ones of my settlement building. I think I'm pretty decent at it. I wouldn't say I'm the greatest or the best or anything like that, but I feel like it's worth enough to get a few views. Out of the videos that I made, seriously, bud, seriously, get out of here, Sturgis. The only reason I knew that it was his name because he walked by me, because I hate those guys. Anyway, not the point. Sturgis, you're throwing me off my game, bro. Anyway, yeah, so I had announced that I was going to be doing some Fallout videos in the future, and I felt like, well, they're not really showing up, and maybe I should explain why, what's going on, and kind of get a feel for whether people want to watch this kind of stuff right now, and what's going on, and what direction I might take this in, also. So here we are, back here in Fallout 4. So we're at my home base right now, and I'll kind of explain what's going on, and I do have some mods on. I would call this a lightly modded playthrough. I have some mods that could, of course, completely change the game. Usually I have a bunch of mods on there that are focused on just building, leveling up as quickly as possible, or starting out with all the perks and everything. That way I don't have to worry about really playing the game. I can just focus on building. But I wanted to show you guys that I still play Fallout 4, and even when I'm not making videos, even when I'm not building these giant settlements and doing these big settlement builds or highlighting a particular mod, I still love this game. I'm still playing this game. And so I thought we'd jump into the playthrough that I've got currently going on. And this is what I do when I'm not streaming the Long Dark or the Outer Worlds, which are the two I'm focused on right now. A little bit of Minecraft in the background as well. If you want to see all the types of videos I stream, you can go to my channel and look at the playlist, is what I would recommend. And you'll see that I've played other games as well. Dredge, I got Skyrim, I got a lot of stuff on there. But yeah, like I said I was going to play some Fallout 4 and stream it, and then, I didn't. So I figured I should kind of get into that. So here we are. Let me get out of third person here. Hey, Dog Meat, what you doing? He's looking pretty spiffy, isn't he? He's got his heavy armor on. He's got his helmet on. He's got his little kerchief on. He looks so good. Yes, he does. And you can see we've been playing a bit and playing around with some of the new DLC stuff that they force upon you. We got a full set of Hellfire Mark 6 armor, yay. But here's the Overboss power armor. We got the Nuka-Cola armor. Then we got our BOS armor. Got a few bobbleheads on the bobblehead cart. I might have a couple to put away here, but this is basically, we're in Sanctuary. And I'm using the makeshift workshop pack, I think. Okay, let's go over the mods that are currently installed or that could be installed. and then I'll get a little bit into this playthrough a little bit. We are at level 51, I believe. Yep, heading towards level 52. And yeah, we'll talk about all that stuff during a minute. All right. So yeah, not neat. Get off the coffee table. Let's pop into the mods, and I'll show you what I got going on. So I said I was going to start playing Fallout 4 again, start doing settlement builds again, and start streaming again. And I went in and I had a series kind of going that was kind of like following along with me, building out settlements. That was the last thing I was working on with Fallout 4 months and months ago. And I tried to go back into that particular playthrough, and unfortunately, not only would it not let me load it up, all it did was give me a little tiny box that said blah blah blah, something about mods aren't working. It didn't tell me which ones, it didn't tell me what the problem was. It just said, hey, no. And unfortunately, I couldn't get into any of my old saves. And usually what I do is, if you are trying to load up a save that you've worked on in the past, and you're not sure exactly what mods you had on, when you try to load up that save, it'll say, oh, you're missing, you know, OC Decorator, you're missing simple clothing keywords. So I could just go re-download that on the mods list and go back into that past playthrough. But unfortunately, this little box, this little, you know, cautionary box wasn't telling me any details. It's just like, nah, sorry, bro, mods don't work. So I did what I do often, unfortunately, with this game. I deleted the game, I reloaded the game, and then I came back in. I also did some looking on Wiki, Reddit, and all those things. And apparently, if, let's say, simple clothing keywords no longer get support, the modder is no longer updating, they're not, you know, supporting this particular mod, Bethesda in its infinite wisdom has decided that that doesn't work anymore. You can't use it. You can't play with it. Sorry. Can't even load up your old save with it. And if you have an old save with it on, sorry, bud, you're done. Because if it's something particularly important, let's say, I don't know, everything's green and beautiful, that's pretty impactful on the game. If there's a bunch of assets that I'm using that I've used to build things in my game, well, what's going to happen to those assets? This game crashes on its own with no help from mods and an unmodded playthrough. You're just running around the Commonwealth. This game crashes. Always has been, always will. It's not just it's definitely a console problem, even on Xbox. But it happens on PC, on high-end PCs as well. People crash in this game just cuz, right? Throw in a few mods, and you're definitely increasing that chance, right? Throw on 50 to 100 mods when you're trying to build a settlement. You've increased the chances by 50 to 75%. Like pretty much during the stream, there's a really good chance the game's going to crash. Now, because I don't stream on a PC but on a console, when the game crashes, that's it. Stream's over. We're done. So if I'm 5 minutes in and this game crashes, that's it. Stream's over. I'm done. I either need to delete that stream and restart over, which is great if anybody's watching, and thanks to whoever joined. Appreciate you. But if I've got like 30 people watching, and I crash, there's no, on PC you can be like, hey, the stream stopped, I'm going to keep going. Hey, you can make some jokes. You can talk to the people that you're trying to reach, while you're still streaming. But unfortunately, like I said, it doesn't work like that on a console, at least not PlayStation 4, right? So I go in and I try to load up a save, and it says, it gives me the list of, I'm like, well, at least I can still go in. I'll try to load up an old save. I'll see what mods it says I don't have. I'll go to the mod shop. I'll try to figure out what's going on, which one's missing, and I'll load in everything else that was there. Well, again, Bethesda hates that you use mods on PlayStation. They hate PlayStation and Sony, period. Right? Obviously, they do. They hated it before they joined their Microsoft overlords. They certainly hate it now, right? And what they've done is they've changed it so it used to just say simple clothing keywords, right? But now it'll say simple backslash period 13692478 blah blah blah, claw CLO slash dot blah 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 K dot blah blah blah. It doesn't really give me, it doesn't say simple clothing keywords. So I can't just be like, oh, let me use the search engine for the mods, which is the worst search engine for anything ever. And the mods list, I'll try to see if I can show you guys how just awful these things are in this video. But the mod listing for console is just absolutely disgusting. It's just worthless. It's absolutely worthless. The way that they, even in the most popular mods, it's still hard to get those because the way it updates the mods, right? So if I make a mod for PlayStation 4 today, right, and I have it so it's something that, like USO, it covers multiple categories. It covers building, it covers chems, it covers settlers, it covers NPCs, it covers weather, it covers terrain, it covers settlements. That one single mod that I made is going to show up in every one of those categories. And it's going to push out anything that's popular in that category. And all of a sudden my mod's going to look great. It's in 15 different categories. That's amazing, right? But you'll see, it'll have one or two reviews, and they're both 5 stars. So the person that made it got their significant other to also rate it 5-star, and now you're looking at a 5-star mod that only 2 people have seen and maybe 10 people have downloaded. It's ridiculous. But all right, let's go over the mods real quick. Armor and weapon keywords. Pretty much, this is a standard. If you're gonna mod, I'm pretty sure on any platform you want this one, right? Andrew CX has come in with the USO and UCO. This guy, girl, I don't know who it is. The name is Andrew, so I just called him Guy. But they stay on top of the updates, even though they shouldn't. I wouldn't blame them if they did give up on it. But thankfully they haven't. And this is probably one of the most large covering utility type mods. It's got building stuff, it's got gun stuff, it's got settlement stuff, it's got settler stuff. I can get a Brahmin, I can get new settlers, I can get ghoul settlers, I can use, assets that you normally can't use in the game to build and make things with, right? And most of the mods you're going to see on this list have something to do with this modder in particular, right? This is one of theirs as well, Andrew CX, you see. Simple green, simple seasons. I like grass and trees. I think 200 years after the apocalypse, there'd be grass and trees. This just helps me with the gear. What it does is mainly it adds ballistic weave to most clothing and some cloth armor, including bandanas, wigs, glasses, that kind of stuff. I still need to level up to get the ballistic weave. So whatever, level 40 to 50 somewhere where you get level 5 ballistic weave. But when you first start the game, I think you can get ballistic weave 1, right, on day 1, if you can get enough ballistic fiber, right? I got a settlement electricity mod I haven't used. They changed this mod. It used to be that you could put one little, not generator, but switch panel on a wall. It would power the whole settlement. I loved it. Never broke for me, never had any issues, but apparently on some other platforms it caused problems. So now they made it so you can, you know, use it. It's a little bit different. I don't really like the way it works now, but it's still there. Dogs Not Brahmin, that just changes all the Brahmin in the game that caravans use to dogs. This way you don't have a bunch of Brahmin stuck in houses. You don't have a bunch of Brahmin on your roofs. The dogs can navigate in between these little tight spaces and around. They're also, as far as I can tell, unkillable, which is going to give not only the named traders, like Carla, Trash Can Carla, will have a dog instead of a Brahmin, but it gives them an attack weapon, right? The dogs will fight and attack, and they're unkillable as far as I can tell. They will enter into the animation where they stop if they get too much damage. You know, like dog meat gets hurt and you need to give them a stim pack. They bow down, they sit there, and then you got to give them time to recuperate. But this gets the problem with Brahmin getting killed on your caravans and with your provisioners, and also keeps them from being on your roofs. This is the USO Season Pass that goes along with the USO base game. Again, Andrew CX. It is pretty much the go, especially on PlayStation 4. It's really one of the few mods that covers a huge base of things for building, for settlement building, and for gameplay as well. And then we've also got his clothing one as well, so that it gives me the options to put armor on top of clothing you normally can't put armor on top of, and get types of clothing that I can't normally get. We have unlocked ballistic weave on here twice. I don't know why, but I guess it was the way I was picking that up. UCO Season Pass, that way again we have it through all the DLC. Advanced Jetpack Ring, this is something that they've also changed. I used to use this all the time, and all it really did was give you the ability to fly. It used to be in a lunchbox, a red rocket. You go pick it up, you could fly. Then they made a second one where it didn't drain AP, and then they made this, which is kind of crazy. Fortunately, they've added a lot of things into it, but I mean, whatever. You can see we get the jetpack effect, no fall damage, no AP drain. We also get 350 carry weight, AP recovery speed plus 25%, jump height plus 75 plus 70%, which by the way is pretty dope. And then radiation damage resistance and explosive damage resistance. It basically gives you a flat resistance of 100 to everything. OC Decorator. I don't like building settlements and having people knock over all my stuff. So this is one of my favorite mods ever, period. If you're going to build, I think you kind of need this one. And then we got the one that goes along with the DLC. I like the water redo. It just makes the water clearer. It doesn't drain out all radiation from the water, but there are certain places, like certain little puddles, streams, where it does take the radiation away, but for the most part you still got tons of radiation in the water. The Busty mod, just because I usually play a female. If I'm going to be a female, I want some bustiness. Dr. Mobius's infinite stash has basically everything you could want in the base game, and it has multiples, and it has a way to re-up them. So instead of having one railgun that I can get like some of the cheap mods, I can just go in and get as many as I could outfit every single person in every settlement with a railgun if I wanted. No settlement attacks. Personally, I think this is just a great way to play the game. I think settlement attacks are probably one of the worst features in PlayStation 4 or in Fallout 4. I'm in Nuka World, and they want me to come back to Ten Pines to try to save the settlement. It's pretty much going to be over by the time I get there, so it's just not a good mechanic in the game. But even worse when you're focused on settlement building. All map markers with fast travel. Now you can get this with just all the map markers without the fast travel. I don't actually use this. I haven't been using this in this playthrough, other than it. At least I know where certain things is. I play a lot of Fallout 4. I know where a lot of things are, but sometimes I don't remember exactly where this particular facility is. This is a nice way. I could have got rid of it, like I said. I probably should have downloaded the one without the fast travel, but haven't been using it except for knowing where stuff is. All right, Workshop Decorations Pack. I'm going to show you some of that right here in this build that we're standing in right now. Absolutely 100% one of my favorite mods. I don't think it says the actual modder. It says a big thanks to Tim Man. So I can't really give a shout out to the actual modder. But Workshop Decorations Pack, or also known as WDP, absolutely fantastic. Gives you a lot of assets that are already just perfect to set into pretty much any settlement. We have the insignificant object remover. It's just going to get a bunch of trash out of the game. Rocks, unnecessary weeds and bushes, and little things to sort of drag down the FPS. No build limit on all DLC. This takes away the need to cheat, throw a bunch of guns on the ground, and throw them back into my workbench, which will also give me an unlimited build limit. We have faster leveling perks. I haven't used this because it didn't work like I thought it was. I thought it was going to be books that would give me perks, specific ones, but really it's just a flat bonus. 5 times experience, 100 times experience, 10 times, 50 times, whatever. So the experience bar will just shoot up. I haven't used it at all in this playthrough. Not what I thought it was. Quick hack and pick. I say this every single time I show this mod. I played a lot of Fallout 4. I played a lot of Fallout period 3 and New Vegas in particular. I've also played a lot of Elder Scrolls, and I'm tired of picking and hacking locks. I still need to level up, so if I want to open a master lock, I still need to level up to master in the perks tree, but I don't have to play the game. I can just hit the toggle and it just automatically does it. I did put a perk rework on this playthrough. The perk system in this game is pretty good, but it always feels like it's lacking in certain things. This adds a few things to each of the categories. I'll kind of scroll through, and as always, you guys can pause this at any point and take a deeper dive into what I'm showing you. But it just shows you all the different stuff. So like for toughness, you're getting a plus 10 damage and poison resistance. So every time you level up toughness, you're getting 10 damage and 10 poison resistance as well. So that's just one of the things that it changes. We'll give another little pause for you to have a look here. Basically, it just goes through all the special stats and shows you how it affects all the perks. Sometimes it's only certain ones, so for better criticals, it doesn't change all the better criticals, but better criticals at level 3 now gives 3 times damage. They do change a little bit of the bobbleheads. Ballistic, heavy, melee, unarmed, and energy bobbleheads give you plus 15% respective damage instead of plus 25% crit damage. So what it does is I'm going to get a plus 15% to my ballistic hits, period, not 25% total at the end for critical damage. And they also mess with some of the magazine perks and a few of the companion perks as well. I put on a very, very extremely lightweight scrap mod. I couldn't find the scrap mod that I usually use. It's SCRAP, which I know spells the word scrap, but each letter means something, I guess. But I couldn't find it, and maybe that was the one that broke my game in the first place. And I'm not really a fan of Scrap That Settlement, because oftentimes I end up scrapping something I don't want to. And that's it. That's at the bottom. That's all we got. We're not looking at 60 to 100 mods this time. This is all I stuck on. There's not a lot. But those are the mods. Now, let's talk about the makeshift uh, workshop pack here. So, this is what I love about them. And you can see this is one asset, which is really great. And I'll show you the difference between OC Decorator and Workshop, or Makeshift Workshop here. What's it called? WDP? This is one asset. That means it counts as one thing in my build, right? Even though it's got like 20 items on it, it's not adding 20 items to the whole build. It's just adding this one thing. That's why I love it so much, and it's very varied, from shop type things to stuff you'd have laying around on a coffee table to restaurant type stuff. I'll take you through a peek at some of those here in a minute. And then we've got what I've done with the OC Decorator. I've just made a little bit of stuff here on this table. But each one of these counts as an individual object into the build. So when you use OC Decorator, you're definitely going to want no build limit, because you will quickly, this is a table I built, also using OC Decorator. So I placed every one of these things, every cap on this table, even the stacks, the hollow tapes, the noodles, putting the fork on the napkin, including the napkin. Those are all placed, but they all count. Every single cap, there's a stack of like 10 here, right? There's like a stack of 5 here. So that's 15 more objects into the build. They're small, but they still count, right? We'll take some pick at some of the magazines I've acquired throughout the playthrough. We got our bobblehead stand here. Show you what we picked up so far. Like I said, we're on our way to level 52. I think of the special bobbleheads, I'm only missing the charisma one. Another magazine rack down stars. And then just to make things in my life easier, like I said, this is my player home. I've got a clinic and a doc to heal me up and do what I need to do. And this is all for just looks. But again, this is the WDP again. Workshop, makeshift workshop decoration pack. Is what most of these items are, and you're getting to see.
Let's get a look at you.
Like I said, we saw some of the more militaristic stuff upstairs, and now we've got aid, we've got books, food, armor, weapons for the general store. All this, everything you see back here for the general store is part of that workshop pack. And it just gives a much lighter way to add to your builds. Instead of this being like 150 plus objects, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So like 13 objects. When it could have been 100 plus. That's why I like it so much. And it's so useful. Does it give you the ability to use your own creativity like OC Decorator does. Again, I'll show you another example of OC Decorator here on this table. But the build and the assets, as far as building type and stuff, that all comes from UCO and USO. But yeah, here we are in Saints Blueberry. Haven't done much. I've been focused mainly. Now here's something that comes from USO. It's kind of nice. Now I started the Nuka World DLC. I waited till level 30, and then you still need 10 quantums to build this. But this is a refilling Nuka Cola machine. And so anytime I come by, there's some ice cold Nuka Colas, a few more, and a few more Nuka quantums, which is nice once you get to the Nuka Cola DLC. few more sets here. We got a Mark II ready to go. Enclave, I believe, right? This is from a DLC. That's the building I built again for myself for my player home. Now, if you've seen some of my past videos, and I strongly encourage you guys to go check those out, 100%. You'll see that I generally like to put a player home right here, or maybe a big restaurant or bar, and it's very heavily decorated. But you can see for today, it's lightly decorated. And again, instead of trying to use that wireless pack, which I don't really like, I just went old
man
school.
Taught me that duct tape could fix anything. I don't think he was talking about bullet holes.
And it works on bullet holes too. But yeah, we've got the basic old school wiring set up. This is from the makeshift workshop decoration pack. Again, I love these preset stands. You just put them on a rug. There's a rug she's standing on.
What's up?
And it actually looks like they've got a few things for sale. Same thing over here at the armor stand. But again, I haven't really done much decorating in this playthrough. This has just been a basic playthrough of me trying to enjoy. You can see all the grass and trees from the spring mod. And again, lots of junk and grass and little bits and pieces that you'd normally see laying around are gone because of the insignificant object remover. I don't even think I have everybody in here at like top tier. Yeah, they're in the second tier.
Out here, you gotta take things one day at a time.
Of shops. I haven't updated them yet. But this isn't my main trade hub anyway. Alright, so what's going on with the series? So like I said, I talked it up. I said I was going to do it. And then I realized there was going to be a whole bunch of mods that, one, probably aren't available to me anymore. And two, I'm not even sure I can find them because I've actually taken screenshots of the old mods that I used to use back in the past. That way I was like, if anything goes wrong, which I expected it to do, and I have to delete the game, which I did. And when you delete the game, you lose all your favorites, you lose your past mod list. You got to start from scratch. You got to search out everything and find it all over again. Another problem with the whole mod list. It just became overwhelming. I'm going to be honest. It really became very overwhelming because when you're using 50 plus mods to decorate and to build your settlements, and you can only find like 10 of them fairly easily, it makes searching those other ones out either very difficult or impossible. Like I said, the name of it used to be this, but now the reference for building is something else. So I haven't fully made up my mind. How about that? I haven't fully made up my mind. Now, when I do a series, I did a survival series. Most popular series I did was one that was basically based on how to make a lot of money. You can see all the water production here, and basically, let's go to the map. I'll show you my usual setup. I usually set up 200 water here in Sanctuary that I can gain from, 200 water here in Tappington Boathouse. You can get about like 150 to 180 depending on how you place your water towers here in Starlight. And then a 200 water on Egret Tours. 200 water production on the castle, and then you can't see it here, but there is a settlement in Nuka, or not Nuka World. I mean, there is one later, but not now. Yeah, we do have a settlement in Far Harbor that can also produce 200 water. And what that means is like every 48 hours in game, 24, 48 hours, I can run by, and that means time spent, like the day needs to pass. So sleeping isn't going to do it, waiting isn't going to do it. You got to be playing the game for that time to pass. But I can run around. Let's go see how much water I have available real quick. Yeah, let me run back into the borders here. Probably be best for me to try to make something, yeah. Alright. So I need to buy, let's see, let's go to soup, right? Purified water. I have 914 water right now sitting in my various workbenches. So I think the top amount you can get from water is 16 caps. So 16 times 914. Whoops. Is 14,624 caps. Just sitting in my workbenches, right? Not only that, it takes a while to get to this point, by the way, obviously. If you're playing it for real, like I've been playing this run, it takes a while. So you want to have some other options. And we've got a bunch of junk in here, so again, look at the fertilizer and plastic. So again, I'm able to make hundreds and hundreds of jet to sell, which, because of what I've been putting into chemistry and just the progression of the game, we can make buff jet, buff tats, all the different types of mentats. So making drugs is not only helpful, I've been using a lot of drugs in this playthrough, but also it's a great way to make money. But I just want to show you how that purified water builds up in your workshops. And all I got to do, if I want to, is just run around to every base. We can fast travel to every base that has water production. I can grab some. See, there's Brahmin, not dogs. Or dogs, not Brahmin. Junlei.
Hope you find your son.
Yeah, he's so fun. But yeah, they get a cool bandana, and like I said, unkillable. They'll go into the kneel down when they get too beat up. Sorry, I'm getting text here. You can see all the provisioners. Red Rocket is where I send all my provisioners to and from. Boom. You can see pretty much everything ties back into here. There's a couple of them. So the one from Far Harbor does attach to Ten Pines. And then we've got Finch Farm hooked up here to Tappington Boathouse. But everything else is a direct line all the way back, except, oh, and Vault 88, which I just recently got. I like going to Vault 88 much later in the game, past level 40, if possible, because if you truly clear out all of Vault 88, you get legendary Death Claws, legendary Rad Scorpions. It's a very difficult fight, so A lot of my leveling came from building and knocking out early missions and wearing the right clothing. But even this one that looks like it goes to Oberlin Station, it doesn't. It goes to Red Rocket. They just walk the same path once they get to Oberlin Station. So everything goes back to Red Rocket. Why not Starlight like everyone else? Well, let's run over to Starlight real quick. The reason not Starlight is because Starlight is one of those places that is actually in an area where there's a lot of stuff going on around it, right? A lot of random encounters, random enemies. It's a great place to run into super mutants. If you start Mechanical Menace and the Automatron DLC, you're going to run into the robot guys here all the time. There's random dogs, animals. And if you've got all these people coming to this spot, they tend to drag that into the settlement. And since I'm not trying to build up some massive thing here in this particular playthrough, I did want to show you that you can stack a lot of water into this little pond once you clear it out. In fact, I could probably get a few more of these small water condensers in here. But I think we're making like, here, let me see. Definitely making over 100. It's coming. Here, let me open up my window because I accidentally paused this. There we go. What are we making? 120. 120. Now, the USO has integrated its menus with the base game menus. Not everything goes into it, obviously. Whoops, I shouldn't have clicked on this one. I got a lot of mod stuff going on there. But basically it incorporates everything into here. Not only what it adds, but the base game stuff also. If we go into water, I think, there might be a room for one more in here. I probably did my best. I think the best I've ever gotten in here is 180. Usually I top out about 150. I do know I was getting frustrated and I was in a hurry early on, and I was like, 120 for this is fine. That's plenty of water. Because between that and Sanctuary, that's 320 purified water. This was the third settlement that I took. And at the time, I probably had maybe 15 settlers. So all that extra purified water is just going into the workbenches. My basic settlement building when I'm not really doing big settlements, this is the largest settlement that I have, 19 people. Most of them are somewhere between like 6 and like 16. But we also got Nick Valentine's hanging around here somewhere. We got Ada over here as a guard. Well, a couple of people are just kind of hanging out here as well. But you'll see something like this. And like I said, if you've seen my past videos, go check them out. You can see the immense amount of detail and what I put into my builds when I'm building specifically for a settlement video. But otherwise, when I'm playing the game for reals, this is what you get for reals. Just a bunch of beds. I try to make it look kind of cool, when I can, but for the most part, like I said, I've just recently finished Nuka World, so I'm getting my Nuka-Cola production up. And I did do just a little bit of decorating over here for the general store. But basically this is my main trade hub, so if I complete Bunker Hills missions, this is where I'll send traders to as well from the Commonwealth, like Lucas, etc. Other than that, I've done builds here where I've made everyone their own homes. They've got individual housing. I've got people assigned to their own gardens, their own beds, and tons and tons of detail put in. But on this playthrough, I'm mostly playing the game. Just throwing in a few assets every now and then, like this kind of stuff, when I can and when I feel like it's lore friendly. Now with my scrap mod here, you can see we can clean up a bunch of the trash and junk, but I can't disappear this whole thing right here. Which you can do with scrap that settlement, which is why I don't particularly use it. Like I said, my older one was my favorite, was SCRAP, and I could scrap this whole building right here if I wanted to. But I couldn't find it, and this one's just light enough to do what I want to do. But yeah, I get that food and water production down here, like 54. Yes, we have 54 food here for 19 settlers. So that means whatever they're not taking out every 24 hours, the extra is going into the workbench. And basically, what I do is I do this at all my settlements, right? All these settlements are making way more food than they actually need to consume there. Whether it's 18 food at a place that has 6 people, or it's 60 odd food from some place that has 16 people. Now I normally put a mod on for Sunshine Tidings because it is kind of a messy settlement and a really kind of fun place to build. But I couldn't find it, and so it's not here. But I'll show you one of the cool things about USO and Andrew CX's mod. Also probably need to change my fast travel target here. Oh no, I already did. Good. You can change your fast travel target in the settlements. I think that's in base game as well. I made myself up here because normally you start down the hill, and sometimes there are bad guys that you can draw in just by fast traveling here. You start like way down here somewhere. It's already getting dark, y'all.
Axes to grind. Hell, I have a ton of them.
Yeah. McCready's hanging out, guarding the place. But it allows you to plant a variety of plants you cannot normally plant. And so what I've done with Sunshine Tidings, and I do this a lot, is I made this my drug farm. This is how I'm going to be able to make all the mentats in the world, get all that glowing fungus and carrots I need to make, orange mentats and varying things. We've got mutated fern, carrot flower. These are pretty important as well. I think you need these for the grape and berry mentats. No, tarberries I think you need for those too as well. I got those growing somewhere as well. You can, as well. I keep saying that. But you can grow that at I'll show you where, at the Slog or at Longfellow's cabin. Anywhere you can get access to the water. But we got silt bean, razor green. I'm actually going to pick this because I just got my razor grain crops going.
You ain't here for me.
And since I don't have a ton of them everywhere, they don't really build up in the workbench like some of this other stuff does. Clear out my inventory just a little bit. You can see what Pizza kind of likes to run around with. I'm a little heavy because I was adventuring, so I usually carry like 2 med-X instead of 5. We got a bunch of sodas we don't need. You can see I needed some more 7.62 ammo, so I grabbed a bunch of water. I needed 7.62 ammo and 308 ammo. So I went and picked up some purified water and went to Nuka World to buy some more ammo. Drop that off. Yeah, like a vegetable soup. Squirrel stew whenever I can make it. A little bit of extra XP there. Yeah, mostly drugs. Keep a few food items on me. Try to keep the ones that don't have a lot of radiation. It takes a while to get to that in the game, but yeah. I mean, 40 points, no rads on a iguana on a stick that's only a tenth of a pound. Pretty good to have. But the other thing that you can use with the ballistic weave unlocked early, and again, you still got to level up. So I just recently, it was like around level 45, I got to the point where I could put ballistic weave 5 on my gear. And I'll show you what I'm rocking and what it gives me. So, and I also just recently made my armor into heavy armor instead of medium. So everything was like sturdy, and now everything's like heavy. So that adds a little bit too. And I don't put ballistic weave on all of my armor, just on my clothing that I wear and the chest piece. So I don't have ballistic armor on my legs or my arms, but I do have it on my glasses. I do have it on my bandana. You can see there. And you can see there it's got me at a 931 ballistic damage reduction. Now the 100 poison is coming from this jetpack ring, which gives you, that's another thing that has ballistic weave on it that I normally wouldn't put on, but it just came with it. So 100 damage, 100 poison, 100 energy, 100 rads. You can see why, adding the resistance or whatever to my armor and stuff, we're getting about an extra 75. So I got 175 rad resistance, 1032 on energy resistance, 100 poison resistance, which is just kind of crazy anyway, and then 931 on ballistic damage resistance. This is like a I'm wearing basically like mid-level power armor without really refining it. So like T60 gear, maybe Mark 1 gear of the XO1, because a full set of XO2 Mark 6 armor, I'm getting like nearly 2,000 damage resistance, nearly 2,000 energy resistance, and over 1,000 rad resistance. It's still not like wearing armor, power armor all the time, but it is like wearing low-end power armor all the time. I still get beat up. I still die. My energy resistance, I wish it was actually more like the power armor, because I get chewed up by energy weapons pretty easily. We've got our charisma stuff. If I want better perception. But this is the basic gear that I'm wearing. Now, you'll see that there's a lot of stuff on here that doesn't normally come. One of the nice things about the USO is that, or UCO maybe, maybe both, is that you can pull legendaries off things that you find. So I found this, I got the spray and pray from Cricket, right? Let me go over to weapons. I took that off. I took that legendary off, and I placed it on my shotgun. So if I wanted to, I could take off explosive by saying no legendary effect. And here's a few legendaries that I have just sitting in a workbench somewhere. We have penetrating, troubleshooters, bats enhanced, and crippling. So I can go for 50% more limb damage on this instead of explosive damage. That is a big game changer because it opens up a lot of what you can wear and what you can use as weaponry. So you don't have to be stuck with the spray and pray on the submachine gun, or hoping that at some point you roll a legendary crippling or a legendary explosive combat shotgun, which you certainly can. But I don't have to wait for it. I can just go buy the spray and pray and put it on there. We got Old Faithful here with the same thing it always does. Overseer's Guarding does the same thing it always does. Splatter Cannon. Again, I don't always change them. But I did put staggering on my 10mm pistol. And I put 2-shot on this plasma sniper rifle. Now the funny thing is, I did this, and like 4 levels later, I got a 2-shot plasma pistol. So I could have turned one into one anyway, but you can either wait for the roll to happen, or I can just take them off and make what I want. Now, you still have to upgrade armor, to like level 4 and that kind of stuff. So it's not like something you can just pluck on. You still have to put your points into your perks. And I'll show you the perks real quick. What's interesting is and I do have all those bobbleheads, so basically +1 in each of these categories is above what I picked to start the game. I don't think I've added any others to the, like, I haven't put a point in charisma or a point in intelligence. I just started those kind of high anyway. Same thing with luck. I had put 1 point in luck. Now I got the luck bobblehead, and I went ahead and put a point in Scrounger so I can start getting more 308 ammo because it's kind of rare. But I basically invested in all the things I would normally invest in. Cap Collector up to level 2. Black Widow. Now you can see normally Black Widow, this is one of the perk changes from the perk mod I have on. The normally tops out at 15%. So 5% per level. Instead, it's giving me 30%, so 10% per level. A slight change that makes an okay difference. Same thing with Rifleman. It does a bit more damage, but it also increases shotguns, which normally you can't do. It should work according to what I've read on shotguns, any kind of long rifle, long gun, long barrel, right? But it doesn't. And so with this, it actually works. So my shotguns are also getting that extra damage. And then rifles also have a slightly higher chance of crippling a limb. 2 points in the medic. I don't normally do commando. So normally I would have like these other points put into some other stuff. But I wanted to do machine guns this time as well. I always, and pretty much every single playthrough I do, make gun nut and armorer all the way up to rank 4. It's just one of the better ways for the late game. And since I do a lot of goofing around before I do a lot of missions, this helps me late game be able to take on some of the baddies that I'm going for. Another thing I tend to shoot for pretty early is locksmith and get it up to master. I want to be able to open. Lockpick master is worth it. It's absolutely 100% worth it. I also have master on hacker, which is more of like if you'd like, if you want. It's not as necessary, but I think that having master level in lockpicking, or at least expert level, is big game changer. Big game changer. I always pump it up to master. A couple points into my dog. I don't normally play with companions, but I always play with dog meat. So having Lone Wanderer on is good, and again, it has a few more effects onto it probably, and a bit more damage than it normally would have. I think again this tops out maybe at 15%. Life Giver, that's another one. So I think again, Life Giver I think normally gives you 10 per category, so you can get 30 max health. I haven't invested in it, but if I wanted to, I could get it up to 100 max health. Always get local leader up to 2, science up to 4. Again, I like to use both ballistic weapons and energy weapons. So again, science, gun nut, armor, and locksmith, and a lot of times Lone Wanderer are guaranteed I'm going to max those out. We got a point in chemist, and we got a point in chem resistant. I'm starting to use that because I've been using a lot of drugs. I've been getting addicted quite a bit. And yeah, I mean, I'm up here in the 50s now, so now I can kind of start branching out. And I can add something up here if I want, and start looking into some of these other categories. I like night person, and usually I just get the first 2 ranks because in the base game, the third rank gives you the ability to turn invisible when you duck, and I hate that. But this greatly increases what you get. And in the last bonus, you get 50% additional damage to sneak attacks. So, pretty big deal. And since the critters and creatures I'm fighting are pretty big, yeah, it makes a difference. But yeah, remember, you still got to level up. You still got to find the stuff. If I'm not using Dr. Mobius's stash.
Can't remember the last time I had clean fingernails. You know what I call a good day? One that ends without an empty stomach.
Uh-huh.
Gotta
Okay, let's run over to the slog.
be
And
honest
I'll show
with
you guys what I've recently been working on. Now that I've done as much as I'm going to do with the Nuka World DLC. Nuka World DLC is a strange DLC. It's like a love, letter or an homage to New Vegas, in my opinion. But it's Bethesda. It's a little passive aggressive, I think, in the choices they give you there. And since I haven't completed the main story, it would where I'm at, and it would cause me some issues. I need to change my fast travel point because we're so close to the forged. I think I killed them all recently, though. So it shouldn't be too many problems with the caravan guys dragging these
Tell a
people.
good doc what's wrong. Spend your caps, and I'll make it all better.
Yeah, not right
Not
now.
right now.
All right. Excuse me.
But I just want to show you right here. I planted some bloodleaf. So this is how I get more bloodleaf and tarberries. Now the tarberries are here anyway. And I know a lot of people will clean this up and put a bunch of water producers here. But I am making a lot of drugs, so I'd rather keep it to this. And I have a lot of bloodleaf growing in Far Harbor as well. But I decided to make an homage to the Nuka World DLC here in the Commonwealth, and I just built this place. Got all the basic stuff in here, so not a lot of signage and decoration and all that kind of stuff. I do have the games in, and we got hoop shot, we got a little skee ball alley. I actually have room for another one. I was going to put the power right here, but due to other reasons in this build, I will show you in a second, I decided to change that. We got all the video games from the Creation Club. And eventually I'll get some pistols and stuff and some water zappers out here. And we'll have a few more games. Up here, I want to do a bit of sort of like a Nuka World type museum. Like a little cafe and a lot of Nuka World stuff you can look at. And then up here, same kind of thing, but with a little bit of a player home aesthetic. Yeah, see, they're getting into it with the Forged already. So even though I have settlement attacks off, my provisioner just killed someone and I got points for it. Yeah, even though I have settlement attacks off, there's a lot of places around here that are just going to drag in and pull in a lot of fighting anyway. So I tend to arm these folks a little bit better. Poor dog meat, you fell. Everybody gets some basic armor. Let's see if we can take a nap. Or at least sit here for a minute. Oh, it's practically morning. All right. You can see everybody's got some cage armor, spiked armor. Not everybody. Poor Jones. He could use a little bit of armor. They got a decent gun. They got a little bit of armor on. Yeah, that's my latest project I've been working on. It still needs a lot of decorating. Give me a quick break. I'll be right back. Back at it. All right. So, again, I just kind of wanted to show you guys, this is how I play Fallout 4 on the reg. I have stuff that I can use. Actually, you know what? I got another idea. Let's run over to, I think, 10 Pines. Real quick. I want to give you guys an idea of how what I would consider just kind of a regular playthrough for me in Fallout. I want options for building, but I don't necessarily want to ruin the game. I'm not a fan of the way. It's not so much that power armor is a bad thing. It just doesn't look very good when you play in it. Maybe it wasn't here. Maybe it was Zamanja. We'll shoot over there real quick. Anyway, we'll head back to Dr. Mobius' stash in a minute, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Another great mod. Kind of like a cheat room, but I think even better. Oop, not that way. Yeah.
Got
So,
work to do. Can't talk now.
okay. What's the guy from Trailer Park Boys who's always got work to do? Clarence or something like that? Anyway. I go in the basement, I grab some Railroad Mark V coats, I stick them on them. Everybody's got a decent rifle, they got a helmet, they've got an endurance hat, they've got something, they got glasses for extra perception, you know what I mean? In the places where I know there's going to be trouble,
Good lately.
I will go ahead and cheat just a little bit. Now, I could put them in, of course, especially at level 50, I'm running into a lot of combat armor, sturdy combat armor, even heavy combat armor. So at this point, I could level them up with that kind of stuff. This guy's got an airship captain's hat on, you know what I mean? There's only like 6 people here. And not only can you get attacked by all the horrible things that are around you, this little area down here tends to re-up, which it already has, right? And so you'll get some bad guys.
Something's out there.
Right down the road from you. Literally, right down the road from you. And there's even a wandering raider gang that'll come up from this direction, and the guy will have a fat man. So having a little bit of better weapons and armor here is a good idea. I think we'll jump over to Tappington real quick, because they're kind of set up the same way. But I just want to show you another area where I've got large water production going on. And again, this all took time. I didn't use the experience modifier. I didn't get to level 50 in like an hour. You know, I've had to play a lot of missions, do a lot of wandering the wasteland. And leveling things up to get to this point. Build all the machines. The other thing, of course, in the basement, I could just give myself scrap. There's a scrap cheat that I can use. I've shown it in other videos. You just drop stuff on the ground, like 400 steel. You fake scrap it and also replace it in. You scrap it and also replace it into your workbench. So basically, with 400 steel, I can get 800. Do it again, I get 1600. I get it again, I get 2400. You see? There's a lot of ways around it anyway. But yeah, most of these guys have... I guess I didn't really armor them very much. They don't get too much trouble here. Occasionally they get bugs. And some other robot type related problems. But you can see this is just another great place to put water into the system. I took here recently, but it looks like, because when we last checked it said there was like 900 purified water, but I'm also got 133 on me. They're also making my bottle caps, and then, yeah, they got 146 purified water. It's already been long enough since the last time I came here. You don't get it all back, but you get a good chunk. Did I pick that up? I hope I left it. Yeah, good.
Yeah?
Yeah? And my next plan from here is to go back to Far Harbor, which also has a water farm, and go ahead and capture some of the other settlements that are out there, build those up. I think there's one more settlement there where you can get a bunch of water from. Maybe set up another 200 water farm. I got plenty of caps at this point. You can see I'm sitting on like 60,000, I think. 66,000. So anytime I need to make trades, I trade purified water, jet, pre-war money. Basically barter it so I get whatever I'm paying for free. Right, even if it's like an 8,000 cap purchase, and then I usually have enough left over to buy out whatever caps they have left in their inventory. But it's taking a good long while to get there. And to finish this video up, we're going to run back to Sanks Blueberry. There we go. Now I'm streaming this pretty late at night for me. It is 11:30 in the PM, so half hour before midnight. And that's unusual for me, but I've got a new job and new hours. I haven't streamed in over a week. going on almost 2 weeks. I'm gonna try to get a Long Dark video out tomorrow, and then an Outer Worlds video on Saturday. I should have time both those sides. I'm getting better adjusted, to my schedule, but I'm up really late because I've been getting up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work. So I used to stream around 10 a.m. Last year or so, I've been streaming more like between 5 and 7 is when I start. I'm going to try to get back to that because normally I get off of work between 1 and 3. So I could be doing it a little bit earlier, but I feel like I've really kind of established the YouTube algorithm for me making videos in the evening at this point.
Farm's not much, but it's something.
Dog me. We're with these people. Let's hop in Dr. Mobius' cellar real quick. I just kind of want to show you how incredibly powerful and overpowered this mod could be if you want to use it. Basically in all these crates there are a lot of different stuff, and I use this basically for decorating because I could give myself 100 viable blood samples and go turn them in and get a bunch of caps, of course, but I can also get all the battered clipboards, desk fans, detective case files, reporters, pens, telephones and typewriters, alarm clocks, Abraxos, brooms, cameras, clean stuff for decorating. We could, of course, load up on SIGs, dog me, caps, all this stuff. All the different types of weapons. I do occasionally, I have taken a few of these from here to give to my settlers when I didn't have anything on me and I found a new settlement. But like I said, at this point in the game, everybody I fight has a combat rifle or an assault rifle or some kind of really nice laser rifle. So same thing with clothing, headwear, vault gear, and all the consumables. We've even got a whole stack of pre-war food if you're trying to make a pre-war settlement and make it look cool. All the different plants and stuff, meats. Oh, there's a little basement in the basement. And it's got a couple unique things down here. I don't ever pick this up because it kind of breaks the game. But there's a birthday suite room if you want it. Basically, you could have a player home right off the bat. You can scrap most of this stuff. You can get some goodies right at the get-go. And then it has this thing where it's just an infinite Nuka-Cola. Just come take a drag off that and boom, you got a Nuka-Cola. But it also has a power armor frame. I don't think there's ever any power armor pieces in here, but there is a locker upstairs. Move. This one. It sort of has a random bits and pieces of different types of power armor. You can definitely get a full set of T45, 51, and 60 in here. And occasionally XO1 has everything you need. But again, other than giving my settlers some railroad coats and a couple of weapons, I don't really use it when I'm actually trying to play. Alright, what's the point? It says I'm back and it has a bunch of question marks. So I'm going to see what kind of engagement I get on this video. Unfortunately, I didn't get to stream it early as I wanted to, but it's a long day. I had a super long day today. I had a full day of work. I didn't get up till 3. I had to go to the grocery store. I had a lot of banking stuff to do because they screwed up something with my banking. I ordered a delivery that didn't work out right. I got a credit for it, but where I live, if you deliver to the wrong place, they're just going to take it. And listen, I live here, okay? So that's just life. So some groceries show up at the wrong house, some food shows up at the wrong house, you take it to the wrong place, I don't get it. So I had to take a bunch of photographs of my development to prove that the photograph that they took was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Just a bunch of stupid stuff today. So I got started late. But I want to see if this gets any views, right? Hopefully it does, because so my Fallout videos get the most views of any videos that I've made, right? Now, I've made hundreds of long, dark videos, and some of them get into the hundreds of views, so it adds up over time. I've made long Fallout 4 videos that get 4 views, but I also make Fallout videos that get 3,000 views. I just kind of want to see what happens, and I'll kind of take it from there. But I didn't want to leave everybody hanging after I'd said I was going to come back and start making some of these videos. I wanted to show you guys something, at least. Do a video. And give you a taste of some of what my decorating is like. You know, a little bit. This is heavily dependent on WDP. I like to do a lot of the OC decorating personally, like these little tables and whatnot I've got in here. I feel like this is a great way for me to tell a story through my build. So yeah. But you guys let me know. If you're crazy enough to actually comment on a Pizza Hulk video, that would be amazing. I would love it. I don't really get a lot of comments, but I do every now and then, and it would certainly encourage me. But if you guys watch this video, throw a few likes on it. We'll see what happens. I might do another one anyway just to see, and I might do it at a slightly better time on a day that I normally stream, right? Which are Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Generally between 5 and 7, I start a stream. It could be 3 or 4 hours long. I tend to make very long videos when I stream. So keep that in mind. But of course, just like I do when I watch long streams, it's out there. I can cut out halfway and watch the rest later, which would be great. That's 2 views. But yeah, I just kind of want to see what the engagement is like, what people think, and we'll go from there. But I'm definitely going to be getting back to the Long Dark tomorrow and Outer Worlds. I want to finish the Outer Worlds. I was trying to get it finished before the game came out. I thought the game came out at the end of October, but they've already released it. And people are giving out reviews like tomorrow on Outer Worlds 2, so I better get on that, huh? But I was getting decent engagement on that, 20 to 40 views per video, which of course isn't a lot, but to me it is. And I just love doing this. I love talking to people. Remember, I'm all about the engagement as well. Feel free to join in if you happen to be watching. If you ever catch a pizza stream and you just want to say hello, feel free to say hello. We can talk about the game, we can talk about life, we can talk about food, we can talk about art, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Mostly. I don't really do politics and religion because I hate politicians, and religion is it's just none of your business, in my personal opinion. So yeah, let me know. Check it out. Let me know, and we'll see where we go from there. But I'll either try to get some more mods added on and do some settlement building, or maybe we'll do a survival playthrough, which I really love. I really love playing survival in this game. Look at these guys. Go to bed. 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 Oh, it'd be easier if you went to bed.
Never changes.
Which one of you's yelling at me? I don't even know.
You hear about that farm run by ghouls?
I have.
Isn't that something?
It
We need
is.
to get back to Diamond City one of these
Well, you
days.
guys are chatty Cathys
Biggest
tonight.
town I ever saw.
Anyway. Yeah, let me know if you can. I'll check, like I said, I'll check the engagement. I'll see how things look. And maybe we'll get a few more Fallout videos. If it looks really good and things are going well, I'll start making more of these on a regular basis, you know. But what you really need to do is kind of go look at my old videos if you happen to catch this one. I do have a Mods Are Dead playlist, and I have a Fallout 4 playlist. I got lots of videos on both. Check those out. The most popular videos are on the Mods Are Dead playlist. See if you like what I build. See if you like some of the mods I like to show off, and would like to see more of that in the future. Let me know. All right. I think it's going to do it for tonight. Like I said, it's almost midnight, and I gotta get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I should probably go to bed for 3.5. Well, more like 2.5 to 3 hours, right? Anyway, As always, I want to thank everybody that likes, watches, and subscribes to my videos. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I really, like I said, I have a lot of fun doing this. I like making videos, and I really like talking to random folks. It's kind of like a thing for me, right? So, yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you. So if you happen to like this video, I don't know, like the video. If you'd like to see more content from Old Pizza, hey, subscribe. That's how it works. And if you're insane enough to ring the bell, whew, you're a dedicated fan. I'll give you that. All right. Like I said, I'm going to call it right here. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for checking it out. If you happen to catch this, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you see this at a later date or time, thanks for watching. Me and Dog Meat really appreciate you guys. Hope you guys are out there having a good day. And listen, y'all be good to each other.